Welcome. Thank you for coming this evening to Nature on Tap. Is this anybody's first time to an On Tap event? Awesome. Great. Thank you for coming. So the first and third Thursdays of the month, we always have some type of On Tap. So we rotate the first Thursdays of the month between the Nature Center, which is us, the History Museum, and the Art Center. So we rotate those, and then every third Thursday is Bradbury Science Museum. So I think next, on the 19th, I believe, is the next one, and that will be a talk about lands. So in case you want to come to that, completely different subject. But again, thank you for coming this evening. We have a few things coming up, and I'll just briefly pitch other programs that we have. If you haven't seen the news, we are leading snowshoe hikes, teamed up with the Valles Caldera. So we have one coming up this weekend, but I believe it's full. And then we have one on the 21st as well. So if you want to sign up for that, check our website, and then we'll shoot you over to the Valles Caldera to sign up for snowshoe hikes. And it looks like we'll be getting snow tonight, so that'll hopefully go really well this weekend and in the future this winter. Also, Los Alamos County, the Parks and Rec will take over the Nature Center, and we have flyers about that, all kinds of activities, door prizes for different things. There's even like golf lessons, private golf lessons and swim lessons and things that they're raffling off. So we have information about that up here as well. So again, thanks for coming. We have Eric Peterson, the county's open space specialist here this evening to discuss trails. If you have any questions, ideas, anything like that, we'll definitely discuss. So.
Did I hear you say Pete is being taken over by the county?
No. So the county's just going to come for one night and take over the Nature Center. Yeah.
With events and activities.
So it'll just be a big activity. They'll have a lot of activities going on. Planetarium will be open, those kind of things. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that did sound bad. So again, thanks.
Great.
Here's Eric Peterson.
Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. So I'm here to just discuss a few projects that are coming up, mainly the Flow Trail project that some of you may have heard about, or some of you may not be aware about. This project that Council has kind of sponsored and driven for us to kind of look into. So how many of you know what a flow trail is, or have seen a flow trail?
We do.
Exactly, a what? That's what a lot of folks are going to say. What is a flow trail? So a lot of ski resorts around the nation, specifically New Mexico, have gone to doing downhill mountain biking on the ski hill, where it's lift driven, where you put your bikes on the lift and it takes you up to the top, and then you kind of snake your way down, where there's berms, there's turns, there's mild jumps, easy routes, hard routes, different paths for skill levels. So it's been a really big revenue boost up in Taos, for example. They built a 3-mile trail off of one of their ski lifts recently, and it's off of one lift and it just snakes all the way down, and I think the grade is no more than 10% the trail, so it gives the beginner mountain bikers a chance to ride down this trail without being terrified about flying off a ramp. Or if you're an expert biker, you can take the hard routes and do the jumps, do the turns, and really go at your fastest pace possible. So there's various routes you can take. So we have been looking at various locations within Los Alamos County. Council wants us to look at possibly putting a flow trail somewhere on county land. So right now, the ski hill is still private, so we aren't able to build anything on there until the land transfer happens. If that does happen anytime soon, we will be developing mountain bike trails on there to complement what is going to be built here. So the mountain bike group, Tough Riders, has brought up an idea and has mapped out a few locations, and that's what we're kind of looking at now, is where is the best spot for this flow trail. And right now, the #1 spot is Bio Canyon, coming off of the roundabout. So the first location would be there. You would start from the roundabout, take it on the south bench, and it would stay there pretty much the entire way, following contour down to the junction, the Y, down there by White Rock and by the main hill. Wow. So this is a little different than what a typical flow trail is, due to there's no lift service. So you would have to have a friend, or we would set up a shuttle system with the transit department to run the shuttles on weekends or when we have the trail open. And so it's a long trail. They envision they want to do 10 miles, and that's I believe section 7 of the grand scheme of it all. A lot of the folks want to start it on the top of the ski hill and run it through Forest Service property and kind of run it through Los Alamos County and down eventually to Sabe. So to bring that many folks up here, I think some of the numbers in Angel Fire, they've completely turned their summer resort into a mountain biking destination. You show up to their parking lot, you'll find license plate from all over the United States. And their trails are packed with mountain bikers. So for kind of how our winters are shaping up, looking at investing some of this recreational opportunity on the ski hill might draw some more people here to Los Alamos County. So we're still in the very beginning phases of this. We've had one stakeholder meeting so far, where we've gathered a few of the interest groups, mountain bikers, the birding community, some equestrian folks, just avid open space hikers, to come up with some ideas for where we want to put this trail. So and they discussed a few options. Also, Pueblo Canyon was discussed, using some of the old road that's down there that is not necessarily drivable or not much of a use anymore, and also possibly Walnut Canyon. So there's a couple areas we've looked at possibilities. None of them are set in stone. I do plan on having 2 more public meetings open to everyone. So whoever signed up on this, I can send out emails and time and location and where we plan on having these second public meetings. So what I do plan on doing is having a DVD that shows a flow trail, someone writing it and kind of what it looks like, kind of get the meeting notes together and give a presentation of what we have so far. So we're, like I just said, we're still very new at the process and trying to figure out best location. So I can answer questions if anyone has more questions about what a flow trail is, or...
Well, will there be dual use trails, or there'll
This'll-
be one for the flow and one for hikers?
This will just be only a flow trail. It'll be its separate trail where it's only downhill. So that's where the user conflict, if we were using existing trails or long periods of existing trail, there'd be quite a bit of user conflict.
Yeah, I've almost got creamed a few times.
Yes,
during
yes,
hiking.
exactly. And some of the trails, for example, by the ski hill are multi-use, and then there's quite a bit of downhill traffic from mountain bikers, uphill traffic from hikers. So this is predominantly a mountain bike only trail for downhill use.
Wouldn't that make that Bayou Canyon South Trail? That's the one that...
The south bench.
That's a very narrow...
Yeah,
There are some narrow spots. There definitely are some problem spots that we have to...
and the tooth there is very...
Yeah, so there's one big component to flow trails. You need dirt, and lots of it. And that's things we lack here. We've got a lot of rock, especially in that area. So finding the best suitable spot where we can possibly haul in some dirt to build up these turns and banks and make it more of a flow trail. Think of going down your nice groomed slope where you're not really using much energy. You don't have to pedal. You just follow the contour, and it's fun. It's flowy. You're kind of just for the ride in a sense, and you just go with gravity is a sense of a flow trail.
Do you put any signs up, like sharp turn ahead,
Yes, it'll be signed. There'll be an entry point. They'll have a complete signage plan for it, and we'll have hopefully a black route, the blue routes, and the green route, kind of mocked at the ski hill, the color codes.
Does that mean hikers are prohibited from those trails?
Yes, that trail would be, yes. Would be. All the other trails would still be the multi-use of open
This would be a
space.
new trail on the south side.
That's the proposed location. It's not set in stone, but that is where the first...
What about in Walnut Canyon and Pueblo? Where do you put those?
They were looking at Walnuts coming towards near the golf course where the road comes down that is cut into the tufa.
Yeah,
And using...
that's heavily traveled by hikers.
Yeah.
It is, and we would probably, we wouldn't make it the entire section of the road. We would still give access to the multi-use folks as well. That's important, is keeping the trails multi-use and not, I guess, using existing trails and turning them into a flow trail where it's going to be a dangerous situation. Yes?
Well, in terms of just the ambiance for the original multi-use trails, would these flow trails be limited in terms of days or hours?
That is on the list.
People be barreling down there making all kinds of crashing noisy sounds any time of the day and week.
I don't think it's necessarily they would be going, they would hop on and you probably would never notice they were there. They would just ride on by like you see mountain bikers today using trails.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem when you're hiking, is that you don't hear them.
Yeah.
You really don't hear anything.
And this will
Unless
take-
they're screaming.
It was a yahooing.
This will take some of the faster riders off the multi-use trails and onto the predominantly mountain bike only trail. There might be a couple sections where they have to cross over or use the existing trail, but then they would use it as a multi-use trail
Yeah.
and no features would be included. We wouldn't bank the turn or put a big tabletop jump to jump over a trail.
How will you be publicizing these upcoming meetings?
Pretty much any way we can. We're going to send them out in slips. We'll do Facebook posts. We'll try to get into the LA Monitor, the Daily Post, and we'll advertise it. We'll do an open forum for folks that can't get there so they can submit questions as well. Yes. Yes.
Is there any reason the planning for the route on the ski hill couldn't be happening now unless there's some doubt about the land transfer ever happening?
We are, that is in the bigger scheme of plans as well. We've incorporated the Forest Service and they're aware of this, but the money that's allocated now is just for a section of county property. So we have spoke to and have talked to the user group to kind of start evaluating their trails because they have a lot of user-made trails up there and trying to invest the money into them and make them, I guess, safer and more flow and using machines and bringing in dirt and actually making them up to code is what we would like to do. So right now it's still under the private property. So we can kind of advise and kind of look over, but no money necessarily can be invested until the county owns the property. Yes.
When's the transfer going to happen? Do you have any information on
You know,
that?
I do not know. I can't answer that, unfortunately. It's we were hoping, it all started with that. They allocated quite a bit of money to go towards that, and we were hoping it was going to happen this summer.
I didn't know that. So that was one of the motivating.
That started it, yes. So initially we were going to put most of the money into creating the flow trail or two on the ski hill and using the lift operated, and then also continuing it down. So that was just kind of the staging area. We would set up a bike park for demos and kids and families to do while the concert series going on, or people are riding the flow trails, and then as council sees and the community sees, hey, this is bringing people here, it's filling hotels, we've got more folks coming up here to ride these trails, then we'll start to expand this dream flow trail like Utah has. They have a trail called the Big Enchilada, and it draws people from all over the place. I can't tell you how many miles it is, but it's quite long, and people come from all over and just, they love it. They ride it and ride it and ride it. Yes?
So it sounds like this is becoming a thing, this flow trails. Does it have like a governing group or organization? Do they have standards and things like that? Has it evolved that far?
IMBA, International Mountain Biking Association, does have some trail building standards and kind of standards of how to build flow trails. So there's companies out there that specialize in this type of trail building, and it would be a turnkey type project. We would kind of find an area that we think is suitable, and then kind of write the scope of work and say, hey, can you guys come in and do this? And we would kind of figure it out that way with the professionals, using volunteers to kind of do some of the beginning work, some of the tree trimming, brushing, kind of clearing corridor, and having the professionals come in. Yes?
Parking might be an issue, especially like
Yes.
the bio trailhead would that be expanded or?
It probably would be, yes. That's the #1 concern too, is if we get this influx of people, where are we going to park them?
Yeah.
And a lot of the locations, I mean, just in Los Alamos in general, parking can be quite hard to find, and especially if we have bigger events that's drawing, 50 riders to 100 riders to the
Suggestion
town.
that's parking at the golf course and have a ride over it.
Right, yes.
Enlarging any.
Get them in the
parking
restaurant,
lots that-
get them food, so. Yes,
Is this similar to what Angel Fire had?
correct. Yes, theirs is on the ski hill, so they are able to use the lifts to get up to the ski hill where you ride down, you don't do any pedaling, no energy is being used, you hop on the lift, they put your bike on, and you ride up, get down, and go down. So they sell their season passes, and it's very similar to their ski season. Yes?
I'm just wondering about the Camp Bay area and the other side across from Partido Mountain. Whose land is that?
That is the Forest Service.
It is Forest Service.
Yeah, so there
Does
has-
Forest Service get in on on this? sort of
They
thing?
sure are, yes. They've been invited to the meetings as well and have spoke about using some of those ridges as well to get down. And I know the mountain biking community has looked at every possibility there is to bring down the float trail. So we've got some cultural sites we have to take into consideration, endangered species, habitat. Hamath salamander up there is an issue, so NEPA studies will have to be done for that to happen. And we'll have to look into some of the cultural sites here in town as well.
So, would the county consider doing a salamander habitat management plan?
That would be, yes, definitely.
Really?
So that's looking into doing that, as well as the Mexican spotted owl
So how,
is now taking up residency here.
Are they pretty serious about that? They would,
Yes, well, we have to be serious since they are federally protected, and we have to make sure we're not taking the flow trail right through their habitat. So we'll have to definitely take that into consideration on which north-facing, south-facing slope.
so you wouldn't do it unless you had that land under county ownership?
Correct, yes. So this is just being built on county property right now, this segment. And hopefully in the future it'd be added on to, extending down to the gas station, involving the Pueblos, having a bunch of hungry riders ending up down at the gas station. It was a pitch for them, so we'll see if they want to be involved.
So is this something that gets charged for? You know, would people charge, like
Not-
the golf course?
Not this section necessarily. Possibly on the ski hill with lift service.
Sure.
Yes.
That would make
So
sense.
right now it's been, you're going to have someone having to shuttle or find your way up, in a sense, or use multi-use trails to get back to the top. Yes.
Yeah. Is there a clear path from the roundabout up here down Bio Canyon to the White Rock Y? Or where would people get picked up?
Yeah, down probably by the gate going into the canyon on the right-hand side where the state lot is.
Is there a public easement through the new Indian land in that area?
There's no Indian land.
It is not?
No, it's all county. It was transferred from the lab to the county.
It's all county land?
County land, yes. So there
To the
could be
Y?
a possibility.
And bio.
Yes, the Y, there's some of the land around the Y actually was just transferred as of last council meeting to the county.
To the county?
Correct.
Oh, so the Samuel DeFonso doesn't?
They own some
comment-
small parcels within that in holding, but they don't own anything that close. They have a couple areas that are protected.
Does the county publish a trail map for that area?
Yes, we do. I have one right here.
Oh,
Sure do. Yeah, and you can find it online. We're actually in the process of updating our maps as well, since the comp plan has passed, and there's a couple just color changes to open space and changing the logo to make them a little bit more user.
Clear the, maintain the hiking trails, clear brush and stuff?
Yes, I typically do. Or the YCC. And just recently I hired 2 casual employees, so they've been a huge help. They've been out doing a lot of the brushing, clearing of down trees. They've helped, they're starting to help implement the signage plan for phase 2, so we'll be doing that come spring. We're repairing a bunch of the rotted bridges that are in the canyon, so we'll have a bunch of new bridges popping up. As soon as we can pull them out of the ground, we'll get them in.
And so can you put this flow through a whole grove of Siberian elms and pull them out
Oh yeah,
along the
yeah,
way?
we can do that, definitely. That's what they're doing come spring too. I've got plenty of them flagged, so.
So you're not fertilizing them?
No. No. Yes.
Kind of starting by the golf course, I'm wondering if you've also kind of plotted away behind Arizona Avenue and where the stream goes down there and from the top of the mountain up where the reservoir is, all that area?
That's been, talked about on Forest Service property, using about, a lot of that is Hamath salamander habitat still, so having the Forest Service come in and do their NEPA study
Where's
to
the
see
Forest Service
if
boundary
it's still
back
there. On Arizona, pretty much behind the residence with a couple parcels where it goes in and out. So it'll be Forest Service, county, Forest Service, county. It kind of goes back and forth.
Okay, I thought it was farther up on the side.
Yeah, majority, on the last row of houses, majority of it is Forest Service.
Oh.
And it'll show on the map too, ownership.
Is the perimeter trail all on county land, or is it?
It's checkerboard as well, so it goes back and forth. It sure does. Great.
I have a question. What's the expected timeline for the
I mean, we would love to start building come summer. Yeah, early spring, summer. So we were trying to get out and do some actual site, tours and walks and walk some of these, I guess, areas of interest and flag a corridor to see if it's a possibility. Because we do have some pinch points, some narrow spots, and for me, just walking these, it raises a lot of questions on if it's possible, what type of damage, view shed, are we leaving a big scar, how many trees are we taking out? Yeah, there's a lot of things to look into.
Have you consulted with a professional trail builder?
Here and there, we've a couple of the mountain bikers have. I personally haven't, just due to conflict of interest, having to wait. I don't want to ruin the chance and get someone to bid on the proposal and ruin that.
Quite a while back, we had horses at the stable, and that used to be a standard ride down to the bottom there. Is there interference between stable usage and the flow trail?
And that was a big concern that came up about that narrow section where the old water bar trail comes down from the stables, and then the new trail that was built by the YCC